Here's what's happening in Dragonflight this week. Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing for more coverage, and catching me live on the mornings on Twitch. Last week, you might have noticed a massive increase to bronze gained in the Mists of Pandaria remix. It's enough for me to say that we should take yet another look at the remix and give some tips on how to not just survive, but thrive in it. You've heard me talk the basics enough times, so I'm going to skip the tinkers and the leveling and get right to what to do at max level. You want to go for the remix specific rewards first. Most of them are behind 10 achievements, I'll show them up on screen, that'll have you zooming all over Pandaria. I suggest first working at these achievements the whole way through. You're going to get a ton of bronze in the meantime to buy all sorts of cosmetics. And the other day someone asked me how to get lots of bronze solo, and the best way to do that really is to just make a bunch of alts and level up for the milestone rewards that you get from the NPC that manages upgrades. For the rest of us sitting on max level characters, bronze farming through daily content is going to be the most efficient way to go. There's still probably hyperspawns out there, but honestly, I'd rather suggest to you folks at home and elsewhere that you spend like an hour or so getting a big bag on multiple maxed characters than to slave away chasing these hyperspawns. So here's what you do, and it should sound familiar. You want to pick up the 3 group content dailies at the start of your day. Then you want to queue up for one of the following: a normal and a heroic scenario, a normal and heroic dungeon, and then one wing of Raid Finder. The first 2 raids have the fastest wings to clear. You're going to get a bunch of first clear of the day bonuses, and you can turn in the 3 dailies for a massive amount of bronze. We're talking like 20,000 plus. That's going to be enough to buy a bunch of ensembles, arsenals, mounts, toys, and more. If you're picking up that bronze fever, or you otherwise just have one character, you can also enter normal, maybe a heroic difficulty raids, and get a bunch more bronze and cosmetics that await you. All of this is thanks to huge increases in bronze income from, again, just the other day. For context, back in the day, it took me about 4 or 5 hours to farm up 20,000 bronze just running old raids where, these dailies can be done in under an hour if you're lucky. Again, though, I think your best bet would be to use some of these max level characters that you have and queue up for first daily bonuses and dailies multiple times. Queuing as a healer would arguably be the fastest, and in the remix, your party already has tons of passive healing, so for the most part, you should just enjoy the ride. While venturing through these dungeons and raids at every level, you're more than likely to run into what I call a zoomer. They're fast, they're pretty much invincible, and they're tearing through mobs and bosses like they're less than paper. They're there for themselves and not necessarily for you. You can try to tell them to slow down, you can trash talk them to their face or on social media, you can even try to vote to kick them because they're not playing the way that you want to. Unfortunately, gamers are gamers, and we can't police every behavior. So once you've exhausted yourself from the futility, the best way to handle these people is to just follow them and stay close enough that in case you do come under attack, they'll somehow kill it with AoE. You want to keep an eye on who is the zoomer. If it's a tank, you'll be a little bit safer because they're guaranteed to keep aggro once they tap mobs. But also you want to watch what they're actually doing while tearing through these dungeons and raids. If you see that they are attacking or, again, tapping the mobs with abilities, you're pretty good. If they're just running and nothing else, they're pretty awful people, but you gotta deal with it anyway. Just keep following them since they have initial aggro, and make sure to not attack at all. Just keep following until the dungeon is over, or if there's a break in the action, so maybe you can loot some trash. Once the dungeon is over and folks leave, now's the time for you to backtrack and loot. If everyone's left and you're still looting, you also ought to queue up for another dungeon or raid. If the zoomer was good, they'll have killed most everything in there, leaving the place safe for you to grab the trash that does not go into your mailbox. If mobs are alive, especially in the main path, and you're unable to get around them, well, once again, that zoomer kind of sucked, but if you at least kept up, the important boss loot is going to go into your mailbox when you leave the instance. So at times, this is going to feel like a bumpy ride, but even with the backtracking, you're still going to obtain lots of bronze and other goodies at a fast rate. Bronze farming is most definitely focused on running group content on multiple alts these days, and the search for hyperspawns is all but dead. I don't recommend doing much world boss farming outside of achievements either. You'll get plenty of threads to get off the ground, but the real power still comes from mostly upgrading gear and playing around with tinkers to fit your playstyle, and if you don't care for powering up, stick to the dailies. This week it's the Mythic Dungeon event. Clear 4 Mythic or higher dungeons for what I hope to be another 2 bullion that can be traded for trinkets and other special gear from the Dragonflight raids. Warsong Scramble is the brawl where the fastest and the tankiest win, and the Death Knights are like, yeah, we're gonna fight in the mid, have fun team. Amir Drizzle is the Awakened Week, so be sure to pick up the weekly quest to clear a Super Bloom and Dream Surge round for some good stuff. It's also a full Spark Week, and you can make for yourself some epic crafted gear. Now, you might be like, okay, dude, like, what's the point? I already have really good gear. But I'd advise looking at what transmog that you've unlocked through crafted gear. It might not be as much as you think, and you'll want to consider using up whatever sparks that you have on other characters for, if nothing else, transmog unlocks. If you're desperate, you can also use a trial character and do the same thing by using the Season 1 Spark Skip, say that 5 times fast, that you can still pick up over in the Bronze Enclave. The Midsummer Fire Festival takes place later this week. I'm not sure if there's going to be anything new, but what's going to feel new is that we'll be able to dragon ride all over the place, making that experience that much faster, maybe a little bit cooler. And over in Mythic Plus World, the affixes are Tyrannical, Entangling, and Bursting for keys 10 and higher. So this is sweet. This is round 2 of me trying to get back into the groove of doing keys. Entangling is an easy gimme. Just be careful during big boss events, and the hope is that I can slam every dungeon a few times this week and make some big progress towards Keystone Master. Yeah, the beta's still chugging along and professions are slow walking their way to offering precise information. But I am just about ready to talk at a high level once again. Last week we talked about what it might feel like for the solo casual crafter. This week I hope to talk about what it's going to be like for the more industrial crafter, the person who wants to be the best, and we'll find out what being the best means in the War Within. Stay tuned for that and more coverage as it breaks. Like the video, subscribe for more coverage, and catch me live in the mornings on Twitch. Here's a outdated closer from Bob, but I miss running this one anyway. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
I'm farming everything that's a word. Gonna pick up all the plunder, can be seen and be heard. Ho ho, it's alright, it's just a part of the game. And I'ma do whatever it takes to get appearances. I'm flying over to the graveyard again. Stick the landing for 2 powers, it's a star bomb again. Oh no, it only works on the NPCs. But that's the point, I'm quietly farming, why am I yelling? Let's queue, get what we can and re-queue. Till we finish, and we're gonna make ourselves some fun. While we're farming all of this plunder, we grind, run into the storm and rewind. 10, 20, 30, 40, keep on going till we go under. It's the easy way to farm plunder.